Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Teevee Show Podcast. Joining me yet again is my good friend, best friend, and road dog in some cases, Christopher Sam. Christopher, how you doing today?
I'm happy, healthy, and terrific.
Damn.
It's a
the
good
triangle of success. You know you made it when you're all three. Well, we're back, and based on the popular feedback, I brought him back. This guy, man, he's famous. People love him.
They love us.
They love us. Once again, they love us. They do love us. And I do appreciate him for coming back. He is going to be a regular. And in addition to, I may have not said this already, but at least my older daughter is going to become a regular as well. She's already agreed. We haven't even aired that episode, but I think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for me to have a conversation with my oldest seed. She's now 20, kicking ass, doing amazing things. I'm not sure if the podcast will have dropped before this episode, but know that she will be a regular. And it'll be interesting to be able to have conversations around what she's doing, how she's navigating the world based on some of the crap I put in her head, some of the brainwashing and coding that I put in there, right?
I would love to hear her perspective of being a child of yours, right? Like, because we've talked
yes.
about your intentions for her, but I'd be curious to hear.
That's a great point.
You know, like what was the experience like for her?
Yep.
You know,
she better say none of good shit. Because I worked my ass off. So many sacrifices. But that's exactly it. That is the reason for it, because I think that's actually something that's going to make us unique. Make this show unique is that we're going to have conversations with people that are, like, especially my children. The young one has said that she's open to it as well, but she's going to go off to college, so that's going to be a little different. But to hear firsthand experience, like, what was it like? What have you learned? How are you benefiting? How are you navigating based on the stuff that this man has downloaded? It's going to be interesting, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, here we go. Today, this is going to be a short one. I'm going to keep it to one topic because I want to dig in on something and explore with you. He doesn't know yet. Because I want the conversation to be organic, by the way. We try not to rehearse these or even share what the topic is, because I want it to be organic, and I want you to see his reaction and what actually we think about a given thing. So my question or my statement to you is this, and that we can basically workshop this, because this is a topic that a subject that I can't help but notice in the world. I've become a philosopher. I don't know if you notice. I will be written like Socrates. No, I don't know. That's me. That's my ego talking. So as I've lived longer and longer, I can't help but realize this. And this kind of goes back to the episode on happiness. It ties into that because everything. Yes, we have talked about this, so it'd be interesting to see what your take on this is. Hold on. Bear with me. Everything in our lives, our emotions are real.
yes,
They're raw. Usually the first is a raw emotion based on something that happened to you. What you feel in that moment. You just got in a car wreck. Motherfucker. Right? God, if it's obviously something that wasn't terrible, you're able to get out and be angry. You got dumped, or you did the dumping. You name it. The first instinct you have is that emotional ugh. And then the emotions that continue from that are real. Those are all real. The best way for happiness to occur is if you manage your emotions. Emotional management is something that I've kind of started to coin. I haven't heard it out there. Maybe it's mine. Damn it.
the term out there is called emotional regulation.
I like management better. Regulation. See, but you're not regulating it. Okay, because I feel that you can manage it based on managing expectations. Every disagreement or anything just about that you have in your day-to-day life or long-term, like in a marriage, in a monogamous marriage, there's this expectation that is set based on the monogamous relationship that you are going to be with me and I'm going to be with you and no one else. Mm-hmm. If someone steps outside that, then the expectation has been destroyed and now there's terrible feelings. Mm-hmm. But if you're in a relationship that's open, mm-hmm. and you both agree to said relationship and manage and the expectation as such, then that then becomes a there's still emotions to manage there, because I've heard enough stories around that. But it's not because of the fact that usually it's not because that you're both seeing other people. But I think about this in everything. If you're pissed at your friend, I'm trying to think of situations. Can you think of a moment recently where you might have been upset with someone, and not the intellectual version of you where it's like, yeah, how about this happened, that like you felt some way? As a young kid, say some sort of way. You felt some sort of way about something.
I think so. Yeah, I think I can.
Okay, give me the scenario. If it's available for public. Can we?
Yeah, no, this one's.
Yes, it could be as simple as I expected to be at work in 30 minutes and it took 45.
This is even more milder.
Okay, good.
I have a group of friends. We play video games, and it's one of the ways that we bond because we just have so many different, we don't typically go to a bar and just drink, right? We'll play video games and connect, and they're across the country. And the way they communicate, cool. Right? The way some of us communicate can be very grating sometimes. So I have to learn to.
Were you ever in that space where that was okay?
Yeah, in the past. In the past. But then as I've grown, I don't really care for, there's this almost like this ritual amongst men where we have to shit talk each other first.
Yeah.
And then showcase love. And I still engage in that every now and then, but it's like every time.
Yeah.
I'm kind of over that now. So I do get triggered sometimes, but then I just realize I control what I can control. And it's not like I haven't had conversations with X individuals about this, but they're going to keep doing what they're doing, and it is my choice to either continue engaging with them or not.
So would you say that you've changed the way you operate and the way you kind of want to manage that? You've shared it, so you gave them, try to reset the expectations.
Oh, I mean, many times.
You reset the expectations, and they have said in not so many words through their behavior. Right. It's said and unsaid through their behavior that I don't care for that expectation.
Yeah.
So your expectation of them was unrealistic, in that they don't care for it. So now either you choose to continue to participate or not, right?
I think that's me labeling it as unrealistic, or that they don't care for it, is me projecting onto them.
They don't want to match.
Correct.
Like you said what you said, Chris, but I'm going to continue being me.
Exactly.
We don't have to label it.
Exactly.
That sounds horrible.
So essentially, they're going to continue being them.
Yes.
Not everyone.
Yes.
Not everyone. So now it's my choice. Am I going to choose to accept them for what they are? Or am I going to do whatever? And if I choose, I have to understand what I'm opting in for.
So you have altered your expectations knowing that this individual, hey, they're still my buddies.
Yeah. And they still have a lot of love. It's just that the way they come across maybe a bit uncouth.
And that's my point. So you have altered your expectations.
Yes.
And I guess my point here is, in any scenario where you feel like things aren't going well, you can't help but you have to ask yourself, does the opposite party know that I have this expectation of them?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I have arguments or disagreements with my girlfriend, I try to boil it down to that. Like, all right, what's the expectation that I'm not meeting right now? Why is she upset with me? I've literally, the sooner I can get there, like once I get past the raw emotion, like, why the fuck is she mad at me? What's up right now?
So wait, let me be clear. Is this the topic about like the expectation?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a great topic, because I find that most discourse in relationship comes from unset expectations. And usually we get triggered. I may get triggered, or they may get triggered based on something that's not said. So now I have to take responsibility, figure out what's going on with me, express that to whoever, and have them, hopefully I've workshopped this enough, but something else I've learned, actually. Because
right, I'm going to need you to like finish the thought, though.
Sorry.
Unless you plan on coming back.
I'm coming back.
You got me coming down this road, and then I need to know if you're coming back to this other road.
I know. So,
okay.
Truncated. Expectations, right? I don't think we always voice our expectations. So I always communicate to people. I try to just speak my truth, share my truth, and have people opt in or opt out of my life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
However, that's where I'm at now, right? I wasn't always there. Before it used to take me a lot of time to process either my triggers or what my expectation even was to myself. While I'm processing this, they're still in ambiguity land. They don't know what's going on with me. I may be acting different. I may be doing. They have no idea.
What is wrong? What's wrong with you?
And I can't communicate that, right? Because I don't even know it for myself. And they could help process that with me. I just haven't been too open to that in the past, I guess.
Go feed your team.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But
no, I'm going in right now.
But I can't say which option is better, right? Like whether it's process it or, I mean, I guess if it's in a relationship, maybe. But either way, I think there's value in just saying, hey, or what I started growing into is like, hey, I don't know the reason why I'm feeling this way, but this is how I'm feeling, right. And it's based off of you acting like that. And I try to be in a very demure tone, right? Because I don't want to be projecting. I don't want to.
Depending on the tone.
Yeah, I don't.
They can take it somewhere.
And then I don't want.
We got another.
Then we have another issue. So I try to just be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is why I'm feeling. This is what caused me to be triggered. I'm still processing this, but I wanted to make sure that you're aware of this because it is impacting our dynamics. Right. And then I have learned, because I've been this way, oh, I want to fix it right now. I want to do this right now. Like, nah, take your time, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, really. So, and I've been that guy, right? Like, no, what?
Not you.
Yeah. So, shut up. So now I've learned to respect that space because, okay, you need time. Like, what's the, like, there's the 4 types, like anxious, avoidant.
Oh, I don't even know.
Secure, like, anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I've heard about these, but it's not something I've dug into.
So, like, I'm the kind of person where I want to talk about something now. Like, if we have beef, I mean, you know, I've called you before, like, hey.
I'm outside your door. We got to talk. Go for a walk. He's done that.
What I've learned now is to prep, give space, and see, because not everybody's going to process things at the speed that I do. And, you know, just to give people time. But I have to reach my own conclusion and understand about myself. So expectation is real. Communicate that and understand that for yourself. So
to finish my story.
Yes.
Before you jumped off, which is fantastic. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Every disagreement, it comes down to that. So whenever I feel that something is off in the relationship with my girlfriend, it's unsaid. Sometimes it's things that are unsaid. Because if you get into a relationship, this is any relationship, there's so many expectations that we have of each other that we can't cover. We cannot, until you run into that expectation and then you meet it or you exceed it. Happiness usually is when the expectation, the reality exceeds the expectation. That's what I've concluded. And sadness, anger is when the reality is nowhere near the expectation. So what I've tried to really do intentionally, especially and this is where I can use this example with my girlfriend, when I feel like something is off, and as far as I can tell, I've showed up well, but there's still something off. Like I check in, like, have I done something? What did I do? I took the trash out. I always take the trash out. You know, I always take the trash out, yo. Like, this is what I do. That's never an issue, ever. However, but one time when I finally kind of pieced it together, I said, babe, what specifically did I not do? What expectation did you not have? Did you have of me that I did not meet?
That's powerful.
But it's catching it and like, all right. And I may not even agree with it. It doesn't matter. But why? Why is this feeling? Why are you feeling this way? Clearly, it's something I didn't do. I think it may be outside of me. That I'm going to find the question, right? I'm going to find that through the question. And questions. That's a whole other topic, by the way. But and that moment, that given day, she's like, oh, that's a really good question. So she was like, she was in a state of shock because I was trying to, because we can go through this shit back and forth. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I'm always here. You never appreciate me. And somewhat valid, but at the same time, now you're just going in circles. Just get to the fucking root of it. What expectation did you have? And she's like, oh. Or what belief am I violating? That you believe, something you believe that needs to exist for you to, and that I then violated. Mm-hmm. And she's like, damn. She answered it. She took a moment. She's like, well, and then she answered it. And it was mind blowing because we just eliminated so much stress and drama, but trying to get to the root of it. Because sometimes, and if I remember correctly, this particular instance, she's like, I don't even know.
Those are the
And
best.
you needed time. Then she needed time. And it gave her a few more minutes, and then she thought through it, like, oh, I know what it is.
So that's powerful. And man, there's just so many like previous history going in my head. But
Go. I want to hear this.
well, you know, so I'm single, right? I'm single.
Yes, lady. Sorry. Or wait, yay, go for it.
Anyway, I'm single, so I've had conversations with different people in my life, and it's always like, hey, this is how I feel. I could be off base. This is how you're feeling. Or I think maybe you're upset with me, whatever, right? And just kind of falling on the sword, because one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to have to assume emotions. Right? Yes. One of my mentors and friends says,
"This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm feeling."
Yeah, and one of my mentors always says, "Hey, men are from Mars, women are from Venus." Right? Like we tend to think differently, but communication is that bridge, right?
So here, what is your definition of a good communicator?
I'm gonna back step.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think the definition of a good space to facilitate communication is one where I don't feel like I have to walk on eggshells to express anything that I need to express to you. Okay. I don't think there'll be any kind of negative blowback from me sharing anything. And that requires trust, right? Because something's true or not, I may feel like if I share this, it's going to create angst, or it may create some kind of negative blowback. And I'll be a lot more hesitant to share. It's definitely within myself. I have to work on this within myself first before I even speak outward. But once I have that, the ability for me to express what's going on with me in a manner that I'm not trying to victimize, villainize, or tear anybody down, but this is just how I'm feeling. And also receive that feedback that may be criticizing, which may be, yeah, you fucked up here or whatever, and being able to gracefully and tactfully take that, receive that, process that, okay, well, how can I do better, right? Because I can only do what I have the desire and will to do. And if something,
and if you know,
of course, and if I
you
know
what the target is, and then of course having the willingness and desire to.
Yeah, but this is not just romantic relationship. This is friendship. This is any relationship.
And that's my point. Yeah. Any relationship, when your boy's mad at you because you haven't seen each other in a while, and y'all want to do something, play ball, he has his expectation that you're going to do that, and then all of a sudden you're not for whatever reason, right? Like, this is across the board.
Yeah, but usually this is like my favorite moment in any kind of relationship dynamic, because having this conversation, you're trust falling into the dynamic. You don't know what's going to happen. It could blow up. It could exactly right. And that happens. But the ones that, we're able to have this conversation and move forward despite of it. No matter, we don't even have to come to an agreement, just an awareness, because we may be totally different sides of the spectrum, right?
As long as there's an actual connection between the two, then that's possible.
That's possible.
If there isn't, well, then that means then the connection wasn't. How
do you test fidelity?
Yeah.
You got to stress test it.
You got to stress test it. Now,
and life will give you that.
You should be able to argue, debate, call each other out, and stress test
in a healthy manner.
Yeah, absolutely. In a healthy manner. I'm not saying throw anything at each other, but you should be able to, because you're gonna have arguments, and if you can't stress test it, then what?
I mean, I have arguments with myself that I have to do. I have arguments with my parents or my friend. Like, it's just you're
fighting with the different sides of yourself.
Exactly. So, but anytime we've moved past that, we've gone through it, and it works out. It's like, okay.
So, I was talking to a friend of mine, Sue, on this podcast, and she said that we spoke. It's funny that y'all both made the same kind of connection.
Okay.
She said that, I forgot how she verbalized it, but she said something along the lines of resolution.
Okay.
After a big blow up of some sort leads to growth.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, that might and happiness, like joy, like we just made it through that.
Yes.
We're still good.
Yes.
And in a romantic relationship, make-up sex. That's why it's so damn good. It's like we made it through that. We were able to figure it out.
Yeah.
and we still love each other. Like, let's go to bed. Let's bang it out.
Yeah. One thing I'm always constantly appreciating of people is that they accept me as I am, right? Because, I think we mentioned this on one of the previous podcasts, like, even in our friendship dynamic, we're not always here, right? We don't, I may be wherever I am in the world, you may be wherever you are, and we may talk frequently, but whenever we do connect, there's no real discourse. It's like, come on, let's break bread. What's going on? Some other people, that's a big issue, right? And it's an insurmountable issue, so it's okay. Like, we all have different.
So I'm just really trying to package it around this
okay,
thing.
My bad.
No. You're not wrong. I'm just wanting to make sure to still put the framework around this. It's like, and they're upset because they have some expectation of you.
Yeah.
See, is that what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I try to communicate. Like, look, I'm gonna.
But they still have their expectation hasn't shifted. It's like, but. So it's like, I thought I heard some break. So, and then that's my big point with this conversation. And it's the chapter is a big premise in my philosophy and what I want to include in the book. So it's me sharing this is like, all right, what do you think? Literally almost every single thing, every moment that we're upset, I say I want to go for a walk in the park.
Okay.
So I set the expectation to go for a walk in the park because it's sunny. All of a sudden it starts raining. And then I can feel emotional about the fact that, God damn it, I really wanted to go walk and now it's fucking raining. Mm-hmm. The reality became that wasn't going to happen. So I can change my expectation or I cannot and be upset. And you name a moment, something that you're upset about or happy. When you were happy, what happened? It was probably something happened that exceeded your expectation. Mm-hmm. And managing that, the reason I bring it back to management is like perpetually managing our expectation. Like, oh, well, I can't ask, this person's not going to be loyal to me in a romantic relationship, in a monogamous relationship. So therefore, I need either alter my agreement or I just need to move on. So you see, like, I need to change my expectation or not have it of this person. Mm-hmm. Carlo has told me this. She's like, she realized, okay, I'm going to share this. I've shared this publicly, but she said this to me once and it really made me happy. And she's like, I realized with you, Teevee, that I wasn't asking for too much. Okay. I was just asking the wrong person.
Woo!
So her expectation was good and realistic. It was just not the right person. Yeah. So this is what I mean. It's not just like, oh, in any given moment, but who you have them.
Yeah, and I think that's like just level setting, right? Like whenever, as you know, I meet a lot of people, right? Yes. So as people get to know me, one of the things I like telling them, like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, blah, blah, blah. Opt in, opt out.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you're saying this is me.
Yeah, and that's based off of, having those kind of discourses of like, oh man, I probably should have warned this person in the past. Like you live and you learn. I
dance all the time and I'm not going to be home and there's women, but it's cool. I'm going to be cool with you.
Whatever it is. You have to be able.
I'll be out late at night.
Set that expectation and give people the opportunity to understand, right? You just got to be upfront with yourself and just set expectations. And things change as we move along, right?
And that's the thing though, because you can't set every expectation.
You can't.
You set the high level ones, right?
When we first kicked off our friendship, we were talking very consistently, almost on a daily basis. But then life got in the way, and then we got busy and all that stuff. But we just shifted our expectations. But the love, the brotherhood, the camaraderie is still there, right? I mean, the fact that we're here, right? So, it's just shifting that expectation
as needed.
But to be that,
and for the people that deserve it, and if it's something that should be shifted, if it's something that's true, your belief system, like, well, you just murdered someone, man. I can't be friends with a murderer.
Oh, damn, yeah,
right. Okay, I want to really stretch it out there to really make the point.
Okay,
right? Like, oh God, like, I don't know, you just ran a red light and killed someone. Yeah, I don't know. That was a terrible one. Sorry, but
we got to talk after this, man.
I haven't been to therapy recently. That's it. That was my big thing because I just can't help but see it everywhere. Like now I just see and I want to illustrate it. I see it in everything. Someone's unhappy. What was the expectation you had? What are you unhappy about? Okay. What expectation did you have? Oh.
And it's okay. I also want to preface this. If somebody breaks your expectation, like being unhappy is a normal response.
So, I definitely don't want to diminish that. Your emotions are real.
Yeah,
maybe
emotions
you had
are real.
Maybe you had an expectation, and maybe you even agreed to it. And homie over here broke it, and like now we got to talk. Like what's happening?
Yeah.
Like your emotions, being upset, being angry, being sad, being happy. These are all valid, but you actually have to check, especially when it's probably sad or angry or something. Like, well, why? Oh, I know why. And hopefully, given the framework too. Be able to boil it down like, hey, I expected you to be here at 8 and it's 10:30.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little late for this podcast today.
Luckily, I built in time for that, so it's cool. So you're good. So my expectation was, we're good. I don't think no less of you.
Thank you. No, great topic. Expectations.
All right.
Yeah.
So with that, we shall end it today. Yes, it is a short one. Or did you have something?
Let's keep going for a little
bit. You want to go?
Yeah, go one more.
What you got?
I think there's something you got.
No. Do you have one?
I don't.
You didn't come with one.
I can't. I was gonna deep dive.
I set an expectation.
You did, and I did have one. But we altered the plan to do a little bit more shorter today. So I was like, we probably won't have time.
Okay. I have just a random one.
Aww.
What do you admire most about your parents?
I saw that and I'm just smiling. Mommy, Daddy, I love you guys.
You're about to see them.
Yeah,
right?
I'm about to go see them. And my sister, of course.
Yeah.
Man, so what do I admire about my parents? My parents live very intentional lives, and it's important to me that I can live and style my life however I want. So my lifestyle is mine to manage. And yes, there's some cultural things that they would probably like I do more. There's probably some like I should have grandchildren by now, right?
Just for context, can you share a little bit about your background?
Oh, yeah. So thank you. So I'm Ghanaian American, born in New York, raised in Ghana, and then I've lived across the various cities and countries of the world. And my parents, my family dynamic is a bit weird because we're all, I guess, nomadic in a sense.
Are y'all really?
Well,
all y'all are like that?
Well,
I mean, maybe because you have to go from Africa here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and then like my extended families in like the UK, and then so I like Christmas is hard, bro.
You mean you just live in different places?
We just live in different places.
Okay, nomadic is you're moving around all the time.
So I'm moving around.
Yeah. Okay,
well, me and my sister. Well, my sister's going different places too. So for me, being able to. That's not common. A lot of people's families stay in one location.
Mine
right?
live down the street.
All of them. So that's they all had plans for their life that they wanted to execute on, and they wanted to support each other through. And I thought that was beautiful. And being able to see that play out throughout my life experience really let me know that my emotions are valid. How I want to live life is valid. And, I'm proud that they instilled that in me, that I can freestyle this life based on what decisions I think is going to make me happy. And
I like that freestyle.
Yeah, because
it's all improv.
It's all improv. I mean, correct me wrong. I don't know if anybody else has been maybe you guys have been here before and you remember your past lives.
How you've been rehearsing your scenes.
Yeah, but even if you are being reincarnated, this is a different time with different people, with different technology, with different things. So it's still freestyling, but having the ability to navigate based on my happiness and what I desire is very empowering, because I'm going to always try and make decisions based on my happiness and bliss. As long as I'm not being malicious towards anybody, I'm not being petty. Like I'm, just trying to focus on what makes me happy and allowing others the space to do that as well. Kind of what we're talking about with expectations. Yeah. So I'm really proud that they, I think I shared it before in the last podcast about like the quote my father shared about lifestyle. Yes. And for those, he's like, don't think about how much money or cars or whatever you want, but really think about the kind of lifestyle you want to live and back into that. So when I was younger, I would think about the kind of man that I want to be. How do I want to process my emotions? How do I want to be in terms of a physical sense? I'm not a method man. I'm a method man.
I see what you did there. You're clearly from New York. Woo-tang, woo-tang.
Anyway, facts though. So that's what I really admire about my parents. My sister's the same way. I really love the way that she takes life by the like the horns, and she just goes after what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little long-winded answer, but
that's cool. That was the point.
Yeah.
It's something. It's beautiful. I hear the love in your voice, and before, even before the question, even before you answered it.
Yeah.
We've talked, not a lot, but just
Yeah.
enough to get a good impression.
Yeah.
They've clearly inspired you and done some things well with you that, so this is my chance to give him some roses. Because he did a bunch of that in the previous show. So in many ways, he is a version of me, just much more handsome and darker and African. But he's got things that I'm only learning now or learned in my latter life, which is fine. That was my journey. But you clearly were given some things or instructed and mentored, tutored, programmed at a young age for you to review, for you to learn things earlier in life than I did. And watching you grow and ask, and you do some crazy things and awesome things. I'm like, man, I never thought about doing that at a young age or asking those questions. The whole council of friends, is it council of friends? I started to call it council of elders because they might get offended if we call them elders. I'm impressed, and there's a reason for that. It's the parenting. It's like what you just said. Even that quote from your father about backing your way into it. That's genius, and it's something that I learned. And actually, I may have paid thousands of dollars to learn from someone. Who do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of habits does that person have? Start doing those now, and work your way towards that.
Yeah, and thank you. And I love my parents, but I can't give them all the credit, right? Because I've had.
Damn it! You just ruined the show.
I've had father figures, mother figures in various parts of my life, and but one thing my parents did do well is plant that seed of why. Why? Any decision. Why? So that trains you to think, and from that jumping off point at a young age, I sought out those mentors, those friends, those connections. Again, people who are living lives or doing things that I wish to be a part of or wish to grow into.
Did I ask you in the previous show how you came up with that? Or did you read a book and said, hey?
I've read several books.
Okay, because I wish I had read that sooner. Now I surround myself with those individuals, but for you, you need those people. The people that you're around, it matters.
So I think imagination is one thing, because being raised in Ghana, we have these things called light off, right, where power just goes off.
I'm
you're just in the dark for an extended period of time, or
you gotta be cool with it.
You got to be cool with it. So that one gives you a chance to reflect if you're not going to distract or do something at a very young age, because you can't watch Teletubbies, or Teletubbies is a show
I'm familiar with it.
A lot of Americans aren't. Yeah.
I remember Teletubbies when the girls were little.
Yeah. So you have a lot of time to reflect.
Creepy ass fuckers.
And I used to read a lot of different books, self-help books, fiction, Harry Potter, all that stuff. And I think we've talked about this a lot, this concept of imagination and playfulness, right?
Yes.
So even if leveraging imagination to create an environment that would nurture the habits and stuff that I wanted to get to, and imagine the kind of people that I want to be around. So in real life, when I identify somebody who meets that expectation of a person that I want to, I was like, damn, I got to interact with her a little bit more, interact with him a little bit more. Like he can give me some information. She can inspire me in a different way and be different inspiration. I think that's the artisticness of life, because we're all artists. Right? And our life is the canvas. How vivid are your colors?
Spit, poets, spit. Carry on.
Thank you.
For the next verse.
For my next verse, drop a bar. Anyway, so that's how I came about it. I mean, but the truest story though. And
oh wow, you've been lying to us.
No, I'm sorry, but there's that.
What are you saying?
But if I had to tell you the inception, right? The inception of this train of thinking was when I was young, again, in those times in Ghana. Yes. I was watching.
Notice how it's all these young memories that.
Yeah, because it started off really young for me, right? Like, I was watching, I don't remember what show. I was at my grandmother's place in Ghana, in a place called Tantra Hill, so shout out Tantra Hill. Okay, so Anyway, so
I'm an idiot.
I was watching some kind of cartoon and the main character died, right? And I'm just
This is a cartoon?
This is a cartoon, right? This is a cartoon, right? And I'm like, wait, you mean they're not back in the next episode?
You just broke your little heart.
We're like, so wait, the person is not coming back? Like, wait, people can just cease to exist? Huh.
Did you have a conversation with your parents after that?
Maybe, but that made me reflect on a different thing. Can I cease to exist?
Ooh.
Can I die? Shit, if I can die, I wonder what that's like. So I would spend a lot of years trying to simulate a death-like state to understand what that.
What?
I haven't told you this?
No. What kind of kid were you, man?
But
Some morbid shit.
But hear me out. Hear me out. So as a kid, I'm trying to simulate death.
Okay.
Right. So I'm like, okay, well,
You mean metaphorically, right?
let me finish. So I'm like, okay, when people are dying, what are they doing? They usually are dead. They just still. They don't move. So I put
Can I
myself
ask how old you were?
6, 7.
Okay, you were a child. Okay.
I was a child. I was like maybe even 8. I was a child.
Okay.
So I said, okay, they're not moving. So I would get into a position where I can be comfortable and I would just not move. Okay, they're not talking. Shut up. They obviously can't see. Close your eyes. Okay, they're still, but they're not breathing. Slow your breath. Okay.
Were you meditating?
So I've been meditating for that long. I didn't recognize that's what it was. Because I was just trying to simulate death. My journey towards death led me towards meditation at a very young age. And because of that, I became aware of my internal thoughts.
Yeah, because that's what meditation does. Like your thoughts.
So at a young age, I became aware of not just this external environment, but this internal environment.
Right.
And that plus that internal dialogue, and that plus the seeds that were given to me through my parents and community, I had the understanding, or at least the awareness, to begin to try and water those seeds. So that's really where it all began.
Wow.
And the singular question is why? Why am I getting angry? Why am I happy? Why am I upset? Why does this trigger me? Why does this bring me joy? Why do I like this? Why? And
you find out that it was an expectation.
Or whatever it is. It could, I mean, whatever it is, because some things I don't know. No, right? But you're right. I mean, I just, so that's how I really got started on this. And then because I had that awareness, any piece of advice somebody would give me, I can penetrate that deeper. I can actualize that more, right? So, yeah, so that's how it really got started, if you wanted to go that deep. I thought we would have talked about...
No, I've never heard that story about you playing dead. Damn. Yeah. But, I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, it's interesting because I did some things as a child that now make sense. I can't think of it. I was actually thinking about this earlier. I can't remember what it was specifically. Like, oh, damn, this thing I used to do, which I thought was just a random thing, now serves me. Like the little things that you did as a child or that you were introduced to as a child. Mm-hmm. Insignificant at the moment. Literally, what was it? I feel like it was, I don't even know. But it was insignificant, but it's a vital part of my life. Mm-hmm. Like, wow. So, not surprising.
Yeah.
Are you good? No.
We can. Sorry, guys. No. So this is gonna be a short one.
This needs to be a short one. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. But that was great.
He gave me a time limit earlier, right before we got on, and then he threw a curveball. Well, I'm trying to honor. Like,
actually, we could do 6 more minutes.
What are we gonna talk about for 6? We can't do 6 because if we do 6, we're doing 18 or 20. We're gonna end it there. I'm making an executive decision.
Okay.
We'll talk after.
I'm not. I mean, he's going to bring me back, and I believe you're going to have his daughter next, who is phenomenal. Both of them are.
Yes.
I gotta.
It's okay. I don't think less of him. In case you're wondering, like, oh my God, they're having an argument in real life.
They don't. They're fine.
Whoa.
No, they're fine.
He gave me a time limit. I was trying to honor it, so I was like, and we can talk. So
yeah,
I know
we can
6
talk.
minutes is going to be a whole lot more. Like already, this ending, it's become 5 minutes. You know,
but,
I'm right.
I know, but this is cool. I'm happy to engage in dialogues like this. So thank you again for bringing me back, and to the listeners out there, far and wide, thank you for engaging with our content
worldwide
and enjoying the material that just our thoughts and how we approach life. Because without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this, right?
Please leave us some questions, like us, feed us, send us money. Feed us, why not? No, that's not a thing.
Okay.
That's buttons. No, there's buttons. Donate to the cause.
Send Bitcoin.
Proud to pay. Yeah, send Bitcoin. Subscribe. Leave us a review. I appreciate you for listening. Thank you very much. My name is Teevee with the Teevee Show Podcast, and this is
Chris Sam. Thank you so much. One love.
Two love. Bye-bye.